Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here coming at you with a deck analysis video. This time we're going to do a deck that we labeled as a rogue deck before, and it's a Lightsworn Synchron deck, and we brought in the originator of the deck, Rich. He won a battle phase with it, and we thought it'd be fun to have him come in and talk about it. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. This was fun to watch. We were watching Battle Phase, and you kind of took everybody by surprise with it, and you won the tournament. Do you remember what you played in the finals?
I played Shurenui and didn't open Squire, so it was pretty unlucky for the Shurenui player.
Hey, we take those. We take those. So, all right, looking at the deck here, why don't you explain it a little bit? I mean, I see a lot of cards that people might not be familiar with, like the Quick Draw Synchron and all that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you thought of the deck and what we're looking at here?
Yeah, I saw this idea from like a Japanese player who was trying to make Cyberstein with Road Warrior. And he was using the Lightsworn engine with quick draws, and when I saw it, I just realized how easily you can get quick draw synchron to your hand if you mill cards with the Lightsworn engine. So I just built a deck like that, and I realized that Nitro Warrior could attack over monsters with 3000 attack and have game instantly. And it just got really explosive, and I just tried to make it as consistent as possible, and it's a pretty good deck.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when people build decks, you get an idea and you make it, and it's terrible, right? This one actually worked. It won a tournament. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so why don't you explain a little bit about each card, starting with the UR there, the Quick Draw Synchron. What does that do?
It's a pretty simple card. So it's a tuner, which you can special summon from your hand by discarding a monster.
Okay.
Um, the only real downside is you can't discard spell cards to summon it, which can break you in very rare cases.
Okay.
Because if you like already mill your deck, the spell cards in your hand are like almost dead.
Oh no, that happens a lot. I've noticed with cards that or decks that rely on the Lightsworn engine.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you have to run them.
Yeah. All right, and then the next one we see obviously is the raid, and we know what he does. But what's the one next to it? That one's from the event, right? The level 2.
It's a level up reward from Blair.
Okay.
You summon it, you can banish any card on the field. And the best part about it is it doesn't even target.
Oh,
So
nice.
the opponent can't react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Have to chain their cards before they know which one you're gonna target. The only downside is you have to banish a Lightsworn from your hand or graveyard. Um, so if you open it and you have no other Lightsworn, it's it's kind of annoying. But apart from that, it's basically Spellbook of Fate on wheels. Um, other part about it is the level is very convenient because um, Draw Synchron goes very well with level 2s.
Mm-hmm.
You can make the Nitro Warrior, exactly.
Yeah, I see you got a little level 7s in the extra deck there.
And the biggest upside is that you can start your turn with summoning it. So before you bring out your Synchrons, you can already banish a card.
Oh, that's nice.
Because it doesn't target and it's a banish, it's pretty much an out to almost anything in the game. Even stuff like Cockatoo.
Oh, because it doesn't target. Yeah, that's nice.
That's a very big strength of the deck because with Charge of the Light Brigade, you're essentially running 5 of them because you can search it.
Oh, right, because you mill 3 cards and bring a Lightsworn monster to your hand.
So it's very consistent to
Yeah.
have that card in your opening hand.
Nice. Okay, and then the level 2 SR next to it, what's that?
That's the Rush Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
It's the card that makes the deck. If it's milled to the graveyard, can banish it, and then you can take a quick draw synchron from your graveyard and take it to your hand. So even if you mill your quick draws, you can just take them and always have a quick draw in your hand to make plays with.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part is if it's in your hand, and Nitro Warrior or any Warrior Synchron monster attacks, you can double the attack.
Is it just
So
when they're attacking or when they are attacked?
Also when they are attacked.
Okay, okay.
Which can also win games because people don't know you have it and people aren't used to playing the deck, so just attack in and then they die.
Yeah, that's great when you have a deck that people don't know how to play against, and they make awesome mistakes like that.
It's pretty funny. There was
sure.
this Stromberg player that almost won the game and then lost because he attacked in.
Imagine
Stromberg
a Stromberg player not reading this time.
Yeah.
Okay, and next up you got Raikou. We know what that does, right? You flip it up and you get to destroy a card or a monster.
Yeah, the deck needed something to do turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Raikou is for. If I go second, I always discard the Raikou, but turn 1, if you set Raikou, a lot of decks that don't OTK, like Dark Magician or Shurnui, against those decks you already have like one destruction set up on the field. Doesn't target.
Okay.
It also mills 3 cards, which gets you to Hedgehog and you quick draw.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty good protection. It's not the best because you can still get OTK'd by stuff like Blackwings, anything that just removes it from the field without attacking in. It's at least something, you know?
Right, it's something. Okay, and then next to that, I always get the name of this one wrong. It's Bolt, is that right?
Quillbolt Hedgehog.
Okay, and what does this one do?
If you have a tuner on the field, you can special summon it. So it goes very well with the Raiden and with the quick draw.
Mm-hmm.
One little trick with the deck is sometimes you just draw all your Rush Warriors. So you can't get your quick draw from the grave because Rush Warrior is in your hand. So then you can search your Raiden with charge and make Bryonic with a Hedgehog and then use the Bryonic to discard the cards you need in the graveyard.
Oh, nice. Okay.
At the same time, you can clear the back row and then you can like go in.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we see Bacon Saber. We know what that does. Charge the Light Brigade, and then Solar Recharge. That one's what is that? You discard 2 and draw 2.
You discard 1 Lightsworn to draw 2 cards and mill 2 cards.
All right.
It's just more milling and more consistency for the deck.
Right. Okay, and then looking at the extra deck, you spoke about Bryonic, and then what do we got? Junk Archer, and then Nitro Warrior, and then what's on the Stardust Charge Warrior. Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about Junk Archer?
The reason I run 2 Junk Archers is because there's stuff like Witchcrafters, which has a single negate. So if I make 2 Junk Archers, I can get one of the banishes through and just OTK them very easily. It's like one of the easiest matchups because of it.
How so? You want to explain that a little bit?
They can only negate a single time. So if you make 2 monsters that can remove like level 8, then it's very easy.
Okay, so you summon one, they negate it, and then you summon another one on the same turn, and they can't negate that.
And then just go for game.
All right. Okay, and then what is it, Nitro Warrior? What is that one for?
It goes up to 7,000 attack with the skill and Rush Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
So you can OTK over Blue Eyes.
Nice.
3,000 attack is like a nice threshold. That's like above a lot of things people summon.
Anytime you can get 7,000 attack on the board, that's pretty good.
If you use a spell beforehand,
mm-hmm.
there's up to 10k attack.
Have you pulled that off yet in a match, in a game?
Yeah, a couple of times. When I just hard open, like quick draw and Hedgehog, and I have spells to mill, but I just summon the Nitro Warrior first so I can boost it.
Okay. And then Stardust Charge Warrior. I'm familiar with this one because I used to use it in my Fortune Lady OTK decks or my FTK decks. You bring it out and you get to draw a card. Is there anything else you're doing with it?
Um, it just adds consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So when my hand is not very good, I tend to search the Raiden with charge. Then I tend to make either Bryonic to discard the cards I need in the graveyard, or I make Stardust to charge another card. Basically, ways to hopefully fix bad hands.
Okay.
Sometimes you can top deck a mill spell and then still go off. And because it's also a synchro warrior, you can boost it. So making a turn 1, if you have the hand trap in hand, is actually decent because they can't attack over it.
All right. There's one card in this extra deck that's missing, and I saw you win a few games with it, and I have to bring it up. The Battle Wasp. Where is it?
Um, so the Bacon Saber in the deck is the tech slot. And you can do a lot of things with that slot. So you can put in a glower bulb and put in the Battle Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
Then after you banish a card with Junk Archer, and upgrade it into a Battle Wasp and do a double attack. Right now, I'm playing with the Bacon because it feels good to have at least something to protect me from OTK decks.
Okay.
But you can swap it out, like depending on matchups. Something else you can do with that slot is you can put in the Crystron Rosenex.
Mm-hmm.
If you banish that card from the graveyard, you summon a level 1 token. You can then use to make Junk Destroyer or Road Warrior.
Oh, nice.
So that's also an interesting tech you
Mm-hmm.
can do. I also put an AD changer against some matchups because they just flip everything down and then you can flip it back up and still synchro.
Okay, nice.
I also sometimes put in the Stego Cyber because it can block 2 attacks from the graveyard, which is good
Really?
against Blackwings.
That's such an odd choice. You just never see that as a side deck card.
It's just to survive Blackwings, only for that match.
Oh. Very specific. Yeah, that's why it's a tech card. Anything else that you tech in?
Those are the main techs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you want to have fun, you can put in like single Junk Synchron and make like Junk Warrior.
Okay.
It's not good, but you can do it, I guess.
Just because it's possible doesn't mean you have to do it. All right. So, would you say this is like a very aggressive OTK deck, or how would you describe the play style behind it?
It's definitely an OTK deck.
Mm-hmm.
You either win in 1, 2, 3 turns, or you're gone.
So it doesn't have like a real good mid or late game. You just want to get in there and get it done.
Tech you can run to improve the mid-late game is the Synchron Explorer is what I think it's called. It's level 2. It can summon Quick Draw from the graveyard, and you can add it to your hand with Rush Warrior, so you can generate some value with that. But it's very hard to play longer games.
Well, I'm just thinking because you're playing the Lightsworn engine at 20 cards, so you're on a timer already. So you're not really gonna have you're not going to survive very well in a long game, and it doesn't seem like you said like you don't have a lot of defense. So it just seems like you just have to get in there and get it done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Slower decks, it can get a bit more grindy, but especially against other OTK decks, you just have to like kill them before they kill you.
Have you played against the reincarnation of like Dark Lords?
I haven't faced that deck a single time.
Okay, because they're really good at stalling out or just getting big beaters back on the field, building the wall.
But they can only negate once, right?
Right, but still, I mean, they're still good at just getting big bodies out on the field that you have to deal with.
That's true.
Kind of like heroes. Heroes are really good at building a wall. Also, have you played against heroes with it?
I love the heroes as well. That's the greatest thing to see when you're playing this deck.
Oh, really? Why?
Because Nitro Warrior,
Mm-hmm.
if you attack a monster and you destroy it, you can select a monster in defense position, put it in attack position.
Oh, nice.
So if you see a hero player build a wall and you have Rush Warrior in hand, make a Nitro and you hit for game and it's over.
Well, does it?
Like very quick matches.
Are you talking about having two of them on the board? Having two Nitro Warriors on the board?
Just one of them with the hand trap is also enough because you can double the attack.
Okay, explain that one. So you attack in, and then it changes the position, or it changes the position before you attack? Or during the attack?
After you destroy a monster, you can select another monster and change the battle position of that monster.
Okay.
From defense to attack.
All right, so does it attack?
And then it can attack again.
And attack again. Okay, that's where I was getting confused. So you attack in, you take out a defense position monster, you turn another one to attack, and then you attack in for like 7,000.
Exactly.
Nice.
Very satisfying.
Okay. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. When you just crush somebody's dreams, they build the wall, they think they're okay, and then you just come in and just destroy them.
Also very useful against ritual beasts because they like to tag out into two monsters in defense modes and they'll both face up.
Oh, yeah, they bring out Pinky, right? Turn Pinky, he's got no attack. Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, so what are some of the drawbacks of this? I think we talked about it a little bit of this deck, but there's just not a lot of defense. That's one problem, right?
Yeah, you get some big duels where you get to instantly surrender because you're playing against the OTK deck. You just didn't do well at the coin flip, you know?
Right.
It just happens.
Obviously, bricking is a problem with any deck, but is there anything else that would be
I mean,
huge
more
drawback?
like who goes first and who goes second, because this deck really wants to go second.
Oh, because, yeah, you just want to be able to go in and just start playing, right? You don't want to have to set up a defense and then pray. You just want to go in, just start playing and attack.
If you think about it, right? If you're playing an OTK deck and you see your opponent set a monster or like summon a Stardust Charge Warrior, you're not very intimidated by that, right? You just OTK that person.
So is that one of the strengths or one of the best case scenarios for the deck? Is you see just like a set pass or maybe a set monster set back row pass?
You can build a wall just like Heroes does with the quick draw and the hedgehog, but it takes resources.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually not worth it unless you have a very good hand.
Yeah, so what happens if you go first and you don't have a good hand? You just scoop? You're just like, I'm out of here?
Set pass, basically.
Set pass. Did you have a lot of that in the battle phase that you won?
It happens sometimes, but it really depends on the matchup because there aren't that many matchups that will kill you through set pass like right now. Backwings will kill you, but Cyber Dragons, for example, won't kill you if it's a Raikou. That's if they have a very good hand.
Mm-hmm.
If Cyber Dragon attacks into the Raikou, the fusion monster gets destroyed. And if they use the fusion spell, then only a single monster can attack. So you can't really pass the Raikou.
Okay.
You would at least get to play the game if you go first into Cyber Dragons.
So
it's the same against Heroes if they also attack into Raikou usually, unless if they go Plasma.
All right, so one of the biggest strengths of the deck is it's a very explosive OTK deck, and one of the biggest cons of the deck is that it's an explosive OTK deck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right, so now
you can try really hard to mill that single bacon, I guess.
That's the way it always works, right? You try, and then it'd be like the last card in your deck, or the last 2 or 3 cards.
Yeah, pretty much. I've had games where the bottom 3 cards of my deck were all quick draws.
Oh, don't you hate that? It's always the one you need. You know, every time you draw a card, it's gonna be the one you don't need.
You hate to see it, right?
Yep. I've had too many games like that. All right, so in battle phase, what were your matchups like? What was your overall record? How was Swiss? Did you go 5-0, 4-1? What'd you do?
Um, so when I won with the Synchron deck,
Mm-hmm.
I actually DQ'd my first match because I was late.
Oh, come on! You're lucky we didn't
Then
drop you.
then I asked a mod, can I still play? And it was fine. So I won every other best of 3.
Okay, so you went
Well,
four and
all the
one.
way up to the finals.
Really? So well, obviously, yeah. Once you make it into the top 32, you're not going to lose. So that's a
I
pretty
had
good
to go
day.
4-0 because I lost my first game to being late.
Yep. So you went what, 8-1 on the day?
Yeah.
The 8-1, 9-1. I can't remember what's top 32. 4 matches, 5 matches. So
Um,
5 matches, right? So you went 9. Yeah, 8-1 on the day. 9-1, something like
so
that.
not that important, right?
Well, it's always good so you can tell people. It's like I went 9-1 in this with this deck in a tournament. It's amazing.
That is true.
And my one loss was to a DQ, so that's pretty good. So what were your top 32 matchups? Do you remember?
I think I went through some ritual beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Faced some Neos deck.
Oh, which version? Do you remember?
I think there was some Prada plant spice in it or
Okay,
something.
okay, I remember that one. I remember that now.
I faced like 1 or 2 DMs in the tournament, which pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I won against the Invoke deck and the Stromberg deck. Those were the luckiest wins.
Anytime you're gonna win a tournament, you're gonna have a few lucky wins. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, for sure. If you're gonna play the Synchron deck, then you need some luck with the mills and stuff.
You need the heart of the cards. That's right.
Yeah, very true.
So let's talk a little bit about the matchups right now with the current meta. 'Cause before the video, we were talking about how you made the deck, and you said you adapted it to the meta. So obviously, you were paying attention to what was going on and had to adapt the deck to handle that. So we're just gonna kind of go down the list here. Best deck in the game, unstoppable killing machine, Kristrons. How does this deck do against Kristrons?
So Kristrons can open a lot of different ways. They usually run 30 cards, so it's like it's very different depending on what they do. They go for the tuner, and I usually try to go for the Twilight Raikou because it can finish without targeting. So they have to chain the tuner,
Mm-hmm.
and usually doing that creates a board state where if I have a decent hand, I can just OTK the Crystalline player.
Okay. So would you say it's a favorable matchup or just kind of even or?
I'd say after taking a look at the ban list, it's a very favorable matchup.
Oh, after the
Because
ban list.
the trap got hit on the
Yeah.
ban list. That allows them to get back banished monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Usually had to banish the trap because otherwise if I banish the monster, they just bring it back with the trap and I accomplish
Oh,
nothing.
okay. All
So
right.
that helps. I'd say it's favorable now. It was like even before.
Okay. What about let's say Shiranui?
Well, the deck can play through some disruption. Good thing is they won't kill you if you go first and you open like a Raikou or something. And that Raikou can pop a back row. It's like one of the few cases where you actually want to go first with the deck and set up a Raikou.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how much disruption they have and how good their hand is. I think I'd call it slightly favorable because I've been having a good record myself against it, but I've been like placing kind of well with the deck, so it's like.
Well, that's gotta be one of the worst matchups to start with because Shiranui, they summon one monster and set 3 back row, and you're like, I'm playing an OTK deck. I don't have time to deal with that back row.
But it's doable against Shiranui because it's usually only 2 disruptions.
Okay.
I think 3 is too much.
Mm-hmm.
2 is something the deck can play through with like average hands.
All right, Dark Magician. That's another hot deck right now. How does it face up against that?
So Dark Magician usually doesn't do well without Circle, and you can start your turn with Raikou banishing the Circle, and it leads to the matchup being very favorable for the Synchrons.
All right.
The easier ones.
Okay, so you're able to, you feel all right when you're playing against it. Because some decks you like.
I like seeing Dark Magicians when I'm playing the deck.
But I mean, if they go first and they get their board set up, aren't you a little bit nervous trying to summon into it?
Well, they can at most have 2 disruptions, right? They have the Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they have another background. But usually it's only the Circle. So if you banish the Circle, they don't have anything.
Right, and then they're like, "Oh, that's like my one thing I can do."
Like goes through those magicians like easily.
Okay, so how would you say that matchup is? Is it 50-50 favorable?
I'd say it's the second most favorable matchup.
Really? Okay. That seems like a big gatekeeper for a lot of decks, right? That when Witchcrafters first came out, they were having a real hard time with that deck, and that was keeping them from doing well in tournaments.
Yeah, because they can consistently disrupt one card.
Right. Consistently disrupt one
It
card.
messes up some strategies.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Did you play against Cyber Dragons at all? How would you say the matchup with that is?
I'd say Cyber Dragons are favorite in that matchup. Unless if they misplay it, which because people don't know the deck very well.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of Cyber Dragon players be too trigger happy with their Cyberload like trap.
They play a little too early, maybe.
To summon 2 synchro monsters. They just see a tuner and a non-tuner, which makes up level 7, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not getting Black Rose." And they like put too quick, and they can't win.
Mm-hmm.
I can get another one.
All right, Ritual Beast. You said that was a pretty good matchup, right?
Ritual Beast is hard. Mostly because if I go first into Ritual Beast,
Mm-hmm.
They can kill me if I just set a monster. If they open Elder, they often like somehow like this. I'm not. I don't understand the Ritual Beast deck that well because I haven't played it myself. I know they can get lethal damage on board if I set a monster.
You gotta get out the guide and read the guide on how to play it. And then you'll know how to play against
maybe I
it.
should. I understand what the deck does, kind of like what it's capable of, but I have a hard time like saying what all the spells do, you know? No, it can like search a spell and then it can like summon an extra monster to attack with, which is game.
So would you say that's your least favorable matchup?
I'd say it's slightly favored for Ritual Beast, but the upside is if you can summon Nitro Warrior and actually attack in, it's usually game because if they tag out, they summon 2 monsters in defense position. You can just switch one to attack. But if they have like back row that stops you and stops 2 monsters, and that's really hard. Or if you
Okay.
go first and they just kill you.
All right. That sounds like a very common theme between decks right here. E-Sabers, that's not something we're seeing a lot anymore in tournaments. Maybe after this ban list we'll see them a little bit more, but did you play against them at all?
I just played Battle Phase, and they're coming back, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
not
yeah, the
happy to see
post-ban
it.
list, yeah.
E-Sabers can disrupt like 3 or even 4 times in one turn.
Yeah.
So they're really hard to OTK if you're trying to synchro summon, because they just flip your monsters down.
Oh yeah, that is very disruptive, isn't it? You can't synchro with them.
It's the worst matchup. The deck was slowly dying until this ban list dropped, and now they're back, and I'm
Yeah,
upset.
they're hitting all the things that E-Sabers that were slowing E-Sabers down, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You were
I
talking.
think
Oh yeah, go ahead.
E-Sabers might just be the best deck right now.
E-Sabers again. I know. I don't even want to hear that. You were talking about Black Wings, how that's pretty tough, right? If you go first, but if you go second, it's because there's 2 OTK decks going at it.
If you go second, you can easily kill them, even with bad hands. If you second Stego Cyber, the matchup is maybe slightly favored, because if you go second, you tend to win. If you go first, you maybe win if you can mill that card and it can block the attacks.
Okay.
So if you go first and you set up something that makes it so they can't OTK you, you get to OTK them back.
That's so satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because Black Wings, I always feel like they're very cocky about their OTK. It's like, oh, set up any board you want. I'm just going to destroy it and then kill you in one turn. So it's always good to see someone do the same thing to them.
You can also play through Necro Valley, because you can put it with Raika.
Oh, okay.
So there was also a match in the top 32 where Blackwing player summoned both Fairy Dragons in defense and put Necro Valley. I still killed him.
Nice. He's like, yeah, play through this. What are you going to do? Oh, I lost. That's great. What do we got left here? You talked about heroes, how that was pretty easy for you. Do you ever pull out a plasma on you or anything?
So if you go first, they need a good hand to kill you through Raiko. And so they need to suck up Raiko and have mask change. Or they need 2 mask changes to like kill you. If they can't, you just OTK them back.
Okay.
If you go second, then they make the wall and I'm very happy.
Yeah. Then you're like, all right, let's do it.
That's actually the best thing to see when you're playing this deck. Heroes making the wall.
So you play against heroes, you're like, oh, this is a free win right here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Invoke Neos here, or any kind of Neos.
Usually not too worried about Neos decks. What's very good against Neos is stacking in the Battle Wasp. They set up Bacon. With the Battle Wasp, you have a third attack to OTK through Bacon.
Right.
Neos and the invoked monsters itself are very easily banished by Junk Archer. You can just make Junk Archers and then Battle Wasp and just hit through the Bacon.
Nice.
And if you set Twilight Raiko, you can banish the Neos if he attacks in.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I'd say it's slightly favored.
Neos is another one of those, I don't know. I like the deck. I don't mind playing it, but at the same time, there's just something about it that doesn't sit right with me. So anytime you can beat them too, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's at least it's a game.
And then Witchcrafters. You said that was kind of favorable, right?
What's kind of favorable?
Witchcrafters.
That's the best matchup of the deck.
Like you said, they only have the single negate, and you can easily play around that.
You can negate a single card. You can make 2 junk archers. You banish the monster and you attack for game. They never run Sphere Karibo or that bullshit cards.
Nothing to slow you down.
All of that nonsense. Just attacking for game.
All right, so how do you see the longevity of this deck? You think it'll be around for a while?
Um, it depends. It has a very hard time playing into E-Sabers.
Mm-hmm.
If a lot of people play E-Sabers, I don't see myself topping tournaments again with it.
Yeah. No, don't say
Um,
that. Don't say that.
But apart from E-Sabers, I think all the other matchups are winnable.
Mm-hmm.
I think unless if E-Sabers like completely takes over the meta, if more people play the deck, you could see it's like topping occasionally.
Okay. Maybe. Okay.
I
Well,
think it's a bit more explosive than the regular Lightsworn.
well, I'm hoping that it stays around for a little bit because once you play enough tournaments, you cast enough tournaments, you love seeing the spice out there just because it changes it up a little bit. So I hope this deck is around for a little bit longer. Maybe if you're not playing it, maybe someone else is.
I'm gonna keep trying for sure. I just really like the archetype.
What I
I'm
love
hoping for more support.
I love that every deck has its day and can win like this. So we just saw Luna Lights win on Friday night. Uh, so you do see decks just have their night, they have their win, their good days, their bad days. But it's great to see decks like this play through the meta and win.
Yeah. Sometimes the meta just lines up into a certain way where
Yeah,
rogue deck can just come in and take wins.
right. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. This was a lot of fun. And if you guys enjoyed what you saw, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. Check out Gamersupps. If you use the code in the description below, you can get 10% off. It's great. We love it here at DLE. We hope you do too. So, we're going to see you next time. I'm Circus. That's Rich. Have a good day.
See ya, YouTube.